Good morning. Today is August the 19th, 2024. I'm LK. Today the talk will be about climate change and civilizations. A lot of time we only talk about civilizations and we also only separate it from climate change. But today I would like to discuss climate change that affects civilizations throughout history, in prehistoric time to current situation on climate change. When you look back at the dawn of human civilization from the Paleolithic, the Neolithic, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and proceeds to the revolution of industrial revolutions, to the space age, to our current state. It's appalling to think that human can control the earth, because a lot of time when you look back in civilization, we are the victims of climate change, and we have to adapt to climate change. And instead of saying that let's do step one and step two in order to make the climate change better, because we have no control with what we've done, or equally it is the earth way of shaping the earth in climate changes, whether through geological changes or ocean acidification or mineralization or elemental changes or chemistry changes. So as in the humble state, I have included the drums in the background, and also I would be also discussing at a later state the real civilization that happened from the Stone Age to our current stages. The dances that represent the civilizations of the past have not changed, and we still have some preservation in dance and in I regard it as movement, because it includes martial arts and other movements, as well as music. Music plays a very important component in our civilization, and it is, I think, helps us or drives us towards or forward in our conquest, in our understanding of the universe. There's a tune to every picture that you see, or every sight that you encounter. There's always a tune in your head, and that melody, I think, could have sustained us as a race. And sound is so important. And from my personal experience, from the recent whale watch, I understand the concept of echolocation among whales and bats and other creatures. So as a trial and error basis, I started to do echolocation with the whales. In my thoughts, I told the whales that I would like to see the whale just next to me, and like to see the whales, period. And please come. And amazingly, 5 minutes after the distance is probably about 100 kilometers away or more, we had a killer whale next to the boat, and there were porpoises underneath the boat. It was quite an incredible impression that I had. Of course, I had other impressions in the past, having whales surrounding the boat. So my inclination is to say that if we tell the whales, we love you creatures, they can hear the sound, they can feel the vibrance of love coming from the human race, and that is part of the communication we can have with creatures that can echolocation. So you can just try it and experiment it and try it more than once to convince yourself whether it is effective. Or I think the importance is to have a love for creatures and to love nature, and they know that you love them, they know that you want to communicate with them, and they will also reciprocate the voice or the echoes of the human voice. So, and then back to civilization and climate change. I think that we're all very concerned that are we going to survive this climate change? What is the impact on civilization, whether in our modern civilization? So we have Elon Musk saying that we can escape to Mars, but that is not the real solution, because we are born on Earth. We're not born on Mars. We're creatures for the Earth. We can explore other planets, but we are not settlers in other planets. So there's one aspect of looking at why climate change has become a phobia or fear among human beings or species that don't want to change, because when it's too hot, you don't like it. It's not comfortable. But if you look at civilization from the Ice Age period and how we have survived and adapt to the environment by moving to different places on Earth that are conducive and better for living, or not so dry and not so hot or not so cold. So I think that because of our technology, we can make things happen in a technological way, but it is cause and effect, because if you do A, there's an effect, whether it's good or bad. Say for instance, we have currently mosquito epidemic. So you would not want to live in an environment like the tropics in order to avoid the mosquito bites to get malaria. Or instead, you would like to live in a cooler climate, or maybe a place that is less infected by mosquitoes, and a country that does fogging in the environment in order to clear the mosquito breedings. And it is not the most pleasant situation, because I have experienced it in Singapore when they fog certain locations and you're not supposed to go out of the building until the fogging is done and it has dispersed to the other in the atmosphere. But it is toxin. But because they wanted to kill the breeding of dengue mosquitoes, they did this method of doing it, and the thing is that I don't know whether we have, and maybe we will one day be able to adapt to all the bites, all the mosquito bites, and all the kind of viruses or bacterias, because we as a human species need to learn to adapt and live and survive as a species. And as you look through the history of survival, I can only consider like the very durable and resistant plant like the ferns, which has lived a lot longer and lived during the dinosaur period, but they survived during the climate change and the geological change. But the dinosaurs died because they were not as eukaryotes. They were not able to survive the climate change and the ecological differences in the atmosphere. So I think that we should spend more money or more research or more understanding on how we can adapt to climate change in a biological way, rather than trying to clean the environment or change the environment, because the environment is going to change. Climate change is going to happen. And how do we learn to adapt to it instead of how do we change the environment? We cannot change it, and it will happen. And we all know that. So if we can make humans more understandable about nature, about the ecosystem, and being able to adapt it. For example, if you see a bee buzzing and pollinating, you could interact with the bee and the pollination process, or just say, hey, look at it and see how they process through from pollen to pollen for survival. And as we cut down remove the plants, they will always find another location to pollinate, and that's what we should do. We need to adapt. And our forefathers had done that and survived, and now we are in a mass population of close to 8 billion people. So maybe it is also the Earth's time to root out what's best for each species. Maybe the best would be the strong will survive. And it's no hatred or no hard feelings for any other individual on Earth, whether it's a bird, whether it's a monkey, whether it's a bear, whether it's a specific plant, a rose plant, or whether it's you and I. We need to be rooted out in order to be the best species that live on Earth. And I think the Earth will correct itself, and we don't have to struggle. And if we are not the selected selected ones of our species, we know we can be the prototypes, we can be the archetypes, and we are not lost. We are still part of the universe, mainly part of our planet Earth. So just be, and just be happy, just be productive, just enjoy life, and just not dawn on stupid remarks or stupid excuse my language, that that you're doomed, or you are someone that is created for a time and live for a time, and we have that time, and just use that time, and we might be a prototype of something that we would enjoy a different time, at a different environment and a different atmosphere, and just be. And as I conclude, what climate change has done to civilization, I must say it is okay. I am okay that today's climate is meant to be the way we have folded or shaped it with the Earth's contribution to be the climate it is today, and we adapt to it. We don't wear black clothes, we wear white clothes so that it reflects back the heat. We use common sense, even when we dress up. And we drink more fluid, and we appreciate the water, and we eat less food, we eat more juicy food. And so as the list goes on, maybe there will be a time that we should not eat meat because it's not good for our diet, for conservation. So these are things that we need to be alert, to have natural intelligence, to be able to understand nature itself, and be consumed by nature in a positive way. And thank you for your time. Love you all. Talk next.